Alright, so the remote is decent. One problem that I noticed is when I use it, I actually pull the trigger with my middle finger, not my pointer finger, and use the thumb to go forward and brake. So that's just kind of maybe the way my hand works, but basically this trigger prevents you from accidentally going forward or back until the trigger's activated, so it's like safety. Other than that, it's pretty standard. I mean, I don't have experience with other boards, so this is really the only remote I've used. Over here on the right, you can see that these 5 lights are for the battery level. This little Wi-Fi looking symbol here is for the mode that you're on, so it'll blink 1 blink through 5 blinks, and down here you've got your battery level of the remote itself. Pretty standard, and there's some nice reference material here in case you forget how to change the mode and you don't have the manual nearby and you're away from home. So the boosted board itself, pretty sleek looking board here. I just gave it a quick Windex, but this board does indeed have about 75 miles. You can see I wasn't really impressed with the ground clearance. You've got maybe, let's see if we can get a better view, about, I don't know, an inch of ground clearance there. So that makes it kind of difficult if you're not sure if you're going to clear a bump or a crack. You'll hit some stuff, but they have these plastic guards here which have been doing a decent job. But something to note, I have ridden it in wet ground conditions, and I pulled these bolts off here and here to see if any water got underneath these little cracks, and indeed there was some water under there. So I know you're not supposed to ride it in the rain, but if you do, I would recommend taking these components off and ensuring that you clean after a ride. So it's about 17 pounds, which is pretty heavy if you're carrying it around, but again, if you're comparing it to a bicycle or some other mode of transportation, consider that it's pretty darn good. Connecting the board is relatively straightforward. Got your remote here, push the button, should light up. You go to the board here, hold the button there, and what you'll see is on the remote, it should make a little flashing light, and you should see a blue light that's blinking to indicate what mode you're on. And from there, let's make sure we're lifted. You're connected. Alright, so I wouldn't consider myself a skateboarder by trade. I've surfed and snowboarded and used skateboards a lot, but I would not say I'm an expert. But something I did realize is that shoes matter. So on the right I've got like an Echo, which is a nice flat sole, and that helps you stay connected to the board. I found out the hard way, if you're wearing these Allbirds, which as you can see, you can really move your feet around. They're basically slippers. And riding the boosted board with these Allbirds sucks because you're not connected at all. So if we stand on here, you can see I'm much more planted with that Echo shoe. You can't really, the movement of my foot translates directly to the board. Whereas in Allbird shoes, when I move my toes, a lot of that movement is lost in the slipper itself, so it's not translating directly to the board. And what that does is it means you have less control. So definitely recommend using a flat-bottomed, hard-soled shoe like Vans or something like that. Don't do what I did. Alright, we're in beautiful Reston, and we're in the second mode. You can see by the blue light blinking twice. It's pretty slow, but we'll show you what it's like. Giving it all its mustard. Not 14 miles. No. In this mode 2, you probably get like 10. And then in the Super Turtle mode, you can probably eke out 14, but that's if you have a tailwind and you're on flat ground and you weigh about 50 pounds less than me. All these things. So we're at about 90%. We're in eco mode, which gets us up to 16 miles an hour. I'm gonna bump us up to expert. And the app's okay. There's some issues connecting when you use the, if you're already connected to the board with the remote, the phone has difficulty. But we'll record this ride from here on out. See, there's a problem. So I can't record and then go back to the settings. It's stupid. So yeah, we'll cancel recording. I just want to make sure I have about 50% life when I turn around, but we'll go from there. All right, we'll give you a full bore start in expert mode, what that looks like. Go. This lady needs to move. So yeah, kind of cruising. I'll give you a perspective view. It's a little wet, but we're moving pretty quickly. So pretty decent, but it gets better as you go up in the ranks. This is a pretty steep hill here, actually. Kind of struggling. Really steep hill. But not losing speed, accelerating. There we go. So something else to note when you're traveling is the grade that you're going down. So basically I've been going downhill for most of this ride, and I should probably turn around with about 75 or 60% battery so I can make sure I can get back. But yeah, there is regenerative charging, I guess, when you slow down, but does it make a practical difference in how far you can go? Maybe. I mean, if you're going downhill the whole time, you're not going to have to worry about losing any battery power, but you're just coasting at that point. It's just a skateboard. So practically speaking, I think it's kind of gimmicky. On this kind of surface, I mean, this is really what the boosted board was made for, is not on the roads, not worried about cars, fresh pavement, and you can just eat up some miles on this. So much better than having to worry about crosswalks and those little bumps for blind people so they know when they're approaching a street. It's just so much more stress-free to commute to work on a road like this than having to worry about cars. So we're at about the halfway point, as you can see. A little over, probably about 60% battery there. I want to head back because I'm going uphill. I don't want to die, but looks good. Let's see if it got dirty at all after just cleaning it. Yeah, the ground was a little wet, so not too bad. You can really see how responsive the trucks are. Any movement. So here you can see the effect of the little, I don't know what you call them, these little plates with bumps, so you know that the road's approaching. But they suck. And so does that driver at yielding. Yeah, not ideal. This is probably the last day you can ride without gloves or ear protection. So earmuffs, God, it makes such a difference. And here's another steep hill. We're in mode 2, so I can conserve battery. Oh, this is a steep one. I weigh about 215 pounds today. I've had a big breakfast. You can hear it. It's kind of slowing down a little bit. But still makes it up no problem. Really slow now. That probably used a ton of battery. Alright, so home is about 1.7 miles away. And you can see the app tells you if I'm going hyper mode, got about 1.6 miles left. So we're gonna do that. See how far we can get. So with hyper mode, you definitely want to lean forward when you're accelerating and lean backward when you're decelerating, because if you're not expecting it and you hit the remote, you're gonna have some problems. So let's see how this goes. So we'll do a quick full acceleration, full stop. So accelerate to speed, hold, and then decelerate, and see where that gets us. Get those feet in the right place. Here we go. not the full way, but you get the point. It's pretty quick.